Oh, hey folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So this is going to be a follow-on from the beginner's guides. This is going to talk more about what to do once you have finally hit level 30. So at this point, you've played quite a bit. You've been through several difficulties of mission, and you kind of get what your class is about. So at this point, what you really want to be doing is, first of all, you want to be doing the Sire Melk's requisition stuff. So you can come through here, look at your contracts, and this is give you a general guide of what you want to be doing each week on each character. Now, these Sire Milk Fun Bucks are account bound now instead of class only, or character only, sorry. So you can use these across all characters if you have a spread of characters. Now, there's also one other thing I wanted to point out of this. If you get a mission that you don't want to do, or it's particularly difficult, like complete 6 missions with no player deaths in pugs, it's just annoying. So you can just go down here to replace. The first one each week is always free. And there you go. Kill 750 dregs with melee. For an Ogryn, that's pretty par for the course. You'll get that done just playing. So, what else do we do at level 30? Well, there are a few bits and pieces that you should be looking out for. Other than just enjoying the character and, progressing further into the game. What you can do is you can start looking at different builds, as each class has several ways to play it. For example, the Ogryn, you can go right into heavy hitter and just go full on attack. You could go down the middle, pick up Loyal Protector, and try out more of a survival tanking build. Or, of course, you can go for a Gunlugger build. So there are several ways to play each class. Now, if you're not bothered by the other specs or ways of playing, my advice would be find a talent setup or a build that you really like. For example, the Broadside Gaming has many builds that you can choose from. But once you've picked something, what you're going to need to do is learn how to use it properly, really, and that just comes with playing. But along with the build are usually choices of weapons. So this is the big thing about Darktide, is this is basically the gameplay loop. You play more to get better weapons, to be able to play better, and so on and so forth. And what you're really looking for is like the holy grail of weapons, which is the perfect 380 spread. For example, this Delver's Pickaxe here. What you're looking for is, as I said, the perfect 380 spread. And for this, well, at least for me personally, I know people are going to be annoyed at me about this, I use defense as the dump stat. So that is going to be my 60. And then the other 4 are 80 out of 80. Now, there are 2 numbers on these for a reason. So now how the system works is, let me just find something that's not quite leveled. There we go, this will do. As you can see, it says 77 out of 80. Now that means the weapon can be empowered up to 500. And at 500, the weapon will be at its peak performance. But until then, as you can see, 77 out of 80, 34 out of 59, 60 out of 80, blah, blah, blah. Now this is a pretty good spread for a shovel. Like, defense is your dump stat. As you can see, it's a lot lower than the others, and the others all max out at 80. This is generally what you're looking for. Each weapon is different, and they have different stats, different ways to, spec them and dump them and all that sort of thing. But this is just sort of a general overview. So you're looking for a well-rolled weapon. Like, I can be choosy at this point because I've put so much time into the game. I can look at this and go, you know what, this isn't for me because damage is lower, crowd control is lower, and that it's not 80, 80, 80, 60. But as you're learning how to play, you don't have to only pick those weapons. I have the convenience of being able to because of the amount of time I've played, but for newer players, pick something that's relatively decent. It doesn't have to be an 80 spread, 380 spread, sorry, but that is the end goal. That isn't what you're going to be starting out with at all. So you pick something that looks, you think, oh, okay, yeah, this is pretty decent. This is usable. Like, you know, that's perfectly fine. It's a few off here and there. But that's just what you're keeping your eye out for. And like something like this, that's totally usable. And to do this, there are several ways. You can check Brunt's Armory every hour. It refreshes, as you can see, in about 1 minute's time for me. That's going to refresh. So all of these will be gone, and a new set of weapons will be in place. So when you're playing, just check this every hour and go through it. You think, okay, yeah, I can pick that up. That might be able to be turned into something. And always check the curios as well, because curios are the most annoying thing to get, because again, you're aiming for the max blessing on them. So for curios, it's 121 max health, 21 max health, 17% toughness, 3% stamina, and 1 wound. But there are other ways of getting curios as well. So Sire Melk's Requitorium has a selection of highly leveled weapons. Now, they may not be perfect, but they do come with high level blessings on them, which you might not have at this point, because this is when you're really going to start interfacing with the mastery system. But this is a good way of jumping in and picking up something that you might like to try that's already rolled. But he doesn't always sell curios. As you can see, I have one at the moment, and it's not particularly well rolled. But what you can do, and this is a very expensive way to do it, so I wouldn't necessarily say this is the best or even a good way, but if you really need curios, you can spend your Sire Milk fun bucks in here getting unknown defensive curios. It is very expensive. It is an exceedingly expensive way to do it, but it is a way to do it. So, you've got yourself a weapon. Well, what are we doing now? Next thing we're going to be doing is taking a look at the masteries. Say you've decided you want to play with the pickaxe, because the pickaxe is fun. So we're going to take a look at the Delver's pickaxe. When you start off, most of these are going to be greyed out, especially if you didn't use the weapon while leveling up. So how do we unlock all of these tier 4 blessings? Well, pretty easily. You just play with the weapon. Every mission you do, the weapon will get experience and it will level up and it will slowly get better. Now, you can use the sacrifice system, which is in Hadron's crafting thing. So you go down to sacrifice and you say, I want to put experience into the pickaxe. And then it will give you a list of everything that's in your inventory and you can dump weapons into it to get more experience. Now, you will get more experience out of, say I'm doing the pickaxe, if you sacrifice pickaxes for pickaxe. Other weapons will only give you about 50% experience. But also, when you're first starting out, this might not be an option. You might not have a big repertoire of weapons that you're quite happy to get rid of. And that's fine. I suggest doing it the usual way, which is just play. Because not only will you level your weapon up, you will also get used to the play style. And it doesn't matter where you start off. If you're having a bit of trouble when you're starting off at 1, absolutely fine. You play 1s until you're more confident with your play style, you move up to 2. And you just generally move on like that. Don't think, oh, I have to play Damnation games if you don't feel ready for it or you're not quite confident how the mechanics and how the combat rolls and that sort of thing. Start off at your own pace and just work your way up. Because at some point, you may be playing like level 2s and 3s for a couple of months. And then you'll think, this is getting a bit easy. I'm successfully extracting from these missions without taking much damage. I'm always alive, That's a good time to think, okay, yeah, I'll jump up to 4. And you might only be in 4 for a little while before you jump up to Damnation. And then once you've gotten to that point, you can take a look into Auric. Now, Auric is a different beast from normal missions because each one of them will have a modifier on, so high intensity shock troop gauntlet or high intensity engagement zone, so on and so on, or Like this one, high intensity sniper gauntlet, ventilation purge. So these are like affixes on the missions that make them more difficult. And of course, on Auric missions, the spawn rate for just everything is much higher. These are like, if you've played Vermintide, these are like Cataclysm Plus. So I wouldn't jump into them straight away, but it's always good if you want to try them out, go have a look and just see for yourself. You know, you won't know you're ready until you try. But generally, at level 30, it is about building your perfect loadout, be it a pickaxe build or be it, I don't know, a veteran recon lasgun build, whatever you fancy. This game has a lot of variety in it, and it's all open to you to try out. You know, you've got four classes with 3 different builds each. There's a lot of options. And once you've started working on the mastery system, you can also look at, not that, the penance system. Now, this is a good way of getting yourself free cosmetics. As you can see down the bottom, there's a track for, you know, how many penances you've done and what you get rewarded. So you get 100 penance points, you get a portrait, and then a dingly dangly, then an emote, not an emoji, an emote, whatever, a title. And you can go through here and think, I'm going to work on my class penances, because each class has a list of penances that you can work through. And these are just little things you can do in games just to make them either a little bit more interesting or just to change up the gameplay. Say you wanted to do, I don't know, can't hide from us. Kills 7,500 suppressed enemies while under the effects of coward culling. Kills made by any affected team member also counts. Or taunt 1,000 special enemies or elites. The penance system is actually quite fun. There's a lot of stuff in here that you can do. Some of them are a bit weird because they make you play in a way that you wouldn't normally play in. You know, some of them are not great. But it's a much better system than it used to be, and it's a fun way of mixing up gameplay. But yeah, at level 30, I mean, the world's your oyster. It's basically trying out builds, grinding for weapons, doing penances, and generally just working your way through all the missions. You know, you'll find some missions you absolutely hate, some missions you love. And at this point, it really is. It's up to you how you want to progress. Do you want to go hardcore into grinding weapons? Yeah, go for it. You want to just hunt penances? That's also a fine way to play. But I hope this has helped, folks. Because well, I know when you first get to level 30, it's a bit daunting, especially with all the new systems they've chucked at us, with the very few sort of tutorials on what the hell they mean. So I hope this has helped. And if it has, please do like, subscribe, ring that bell for notification. It really does help us out. And if you fancy supporting the channel a bit more, please do check out that join button. And I will catch you all for the next video. So until then, take it easy. I'll see you later.